my headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me.
You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out, and the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
All-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the level of heavyweight that, more experienced than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right?
Gervonta, Tank Davis just sent a chilling warning to Jake Paul. This isn't entertainment anymore. It's personal. After his first ever draw, Davis is out for redemption, while Jake calls this the toughest fight of his life. With $50 million on the line and Netflix turning it into a global event, this isn't just boxing, it's a war between legacy and fame. Gervonta Davis came out swinging on the Joe Rogan Podcast, firing a ruthless warning at Jake Paul before their showdown. The knockout artist made it clear, Jake isn't a sideshow, he's a man who chose the wrong fight. Pressed for details, Davis growled, "This isn't entertainment anymore, it's personal."
Looking at it now, it's just like, I don't know, probably this was a good thing, us fighting. Because you have someone that, we come from two different sides, like, of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing. I gotta be in there with him. I gotta be able to, his arm reach, his size, his power, the way he moving and things like that. I just gotta adapt as I fight him. I think it's gonna be a great event. Every time I fight is fireworks. Boxing wins come November the 14th. We just giving boxing what it needs, and that's excitement.
From Davis's perspective, this fight is all about redemption. After his March 2025 draw with Lamont Roach Jr., the first non-win of his pro career, critics began to question if his dominance was slipping. Reflecting on his legacy as a world champion, Davis sees this clash as a chance to silence the skeptics and prove he still stands among boxing's elite, even without traditional sanctioning.
Not happy with Tank. First off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, because that's all for entertainment. What does it say? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. So fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, So, it's money-making purposes only,
Jake Paul has openly admitted that his upcoming showdown with Gervonta Davis marks the toughest test of his career. Though he holds the edge in size and reach, Paul recognizes Davis as a top 10 pound-for-pound talent, one whose skill, power, and experience demand total focus. He stressed that this fight isn't just about what he brings to the ring. It's about matching a man armed with every weapon and finding something extra to prevail.
Going into a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
Yeah, I think, Jake, you could make the argument, right? Pound for pound wise, this guy's the most ferocious dude in the whole sport, couldn't you? For sure.
I think he has probably one of the highest knockout percentages.
Yeah, 90-something%, right?
Exactly. And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. He's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
Jake, how do you prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you? How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off.
Paul's rise has been fueled by crossover hype and spectacle. But this opponent stands as his toughest test, yet in both skill and stature. A victory over Davis, no matter the bout's classification, could redefine how the boxing world views Paul's legitimacy. And with a reported $50 million purse on the line, the financial stakes have never been higher.
Now we're getting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then. But I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept. And that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However, you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul made headlines ahead of his clash with Tank Davis by bringing Shakur Stevenson into his training camp, a move that instantly grabbed attention across the boxing world. Stevenson, a 3-division world champion celebrated for his technical precision and defensive genius, will spar with Paul to refine his speed, timing, and ring IQ, steering him away from relying solely on power and size.
Just sparring, we got some great guys coming in, some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're going to hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just going to bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick.
Training updates have been limited, but the few leaks paint a revealing picture. Davis's trainer has voiced concern over the fight setup, specifically the use of 12-ounce gloves, uncommon for major bouts, and the exhibition format itself. He argued that with the weight gap between fighters, adjustments to glove size or round length could have leveled the playing field. Still, the match will move forward as planned. 10 3-minute rounds. Both men wearing 12-ounce gloves.
Paul versus Tank fight is getting really weird.
Gervonta looks scared for his life because the rules are out. They're crazy. Oh, so everyone thought that the fight was at 190. It was 190. He said it's at 195, and this weight difference is scaring the life out of little Tank.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The next dispute comes with the gloves.
Little Tank is used to fighting in 8-ounce gloves.
Baby glove.
This fight will be in 12. Hands might be too small. Oh, so Tank just fought in a 12 3-minute round fight against Roach.
Yes, and now he's fighting in 10 3-minute rounds, which isn't too bad. Well done, Jake.
Exhibition though, can he win?
Yes, he can actually win. It will be overlooked by 3 sanctioned judges.
So he can actually still win and knock him out.
But here's the trick. It's body punches only.
And there's a reason. That's because Tank said, look, this is a bit unfair. I don't want to punch up. I want to punch at my head height. Where does it fall?
At Jake Paul's belly. Oof. So apparently we've heard there's no knockdown rules, but aside from that, it's a pretty well-rounded fight. Oh yeah, and there's some drug testing involved.
But Jake Paul for the win.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake, he fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mismatch. It's supposed to be an expedition.
Why's it matter?
What, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Tank don't really care, So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, he can wait at 10s and we wait at 8s. Then we got...
Though officially labeled an exhibition, the fight is being promoted like a full-scale main event. Streaming rights have been locked in through Netflix, and marketing efforts, including a Grand Theft Auto-inspired poster, have fueled massive buzz. Even the undercard is stacked with world title fights, strategically placed around the headliner to give the night added legitimacy and big fight energy.
With fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser, because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career, and for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. Has Tank? Well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see, unless he has everything.
For Davis, this bout is being billed as an opportunity to expose Jake Paul's lineup of hand-picked opponents and prove to purists that he's unafraid to step beyond his comfort zone. For Paul, it's the ultimate payday, reportedly netting him around $50 million for one night in the ring, marking the biggest financial moment of his boxing career.
I'm gonna ask, what are you making for the fight?
You're pocket watching?
A little bit here.
Like, what do you think?
50 to 100 mil.
You're closer on the first number.
Wow, that's still crazy to me, bro.
People are like 200. It's just like, nah. Boxing's not like that anymore. It's a lot of money.
Former champion Sean Porter offered a personal take on Jake Paul's boxing journey. He said most fighters take Jake's offers for the paycheck, not the respect. The money's just too good to turn down. But Porter believes Jake still hasn't earned genuine admiration in the boxing world. The respect he gets is mostly surface level. Fans applaud his business hustle, not his ring craft. Jake's team knows marketing, but real credibility comes from beating elite fighters, something money can't buy. This matchup highlights how boxing has become more business than sport. For Jake, it's a chance to prove he belongs among real fighters. For Tank, it's a measure of how far his brand can reach beyond the ropes. Both are marketing giants, but while Jake thrives on spectacle, Tank thrives on skill.
I like when it's all said and done, and when you guys go off, they go into the next man. Yeah. So if y'all can make a big payday, go get that payday. The sport of boxing don't love you, and that's the problem with this sport. It's like what Jake Paul did, man. It's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby. I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not. I got no. I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like they're talking like I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million.
Despite all the criticism, curiosity runs high about how this fight will unfold. Many fans find traditional boxing too slow or predictable, while Jake Paul injects unpredictability and spectacle. Adding Gervonta Davis only amplifies the chaos. Some who've drifted from boxing might tune in again, not for loyalty, but for the entertainment. Strange as it sounds, this matchup captures exactly what modern fans crave: chaos, surprise, and controversy.
That's not a victory, unless he's landing the right jab, grab, breathe. Meanwhile, Tank is downloading, collecting timestamps. Ever see a big guy wrestle? Yeah, those first few minutes looks like a forklift, but by minute 5, forklift needs a nap. Can a forklift catch a fly? Only if the fly gets lazy. Jake's body will be open, especially after mid-fight when hands start sinking. And when the guard starts to wither away, so will the chin. Body shots don't ask permission, they collect rent. Liver! You don't need to be a heavyweight to fold a man who's exhaling. A small, sharp guy versus a taller frame, seen it 100 times. You touch torso early, you tag shoulders late. The high guard starts.
Commentator Wade Plemons portrays Jake Paul as a strategist who wields fame and ego like weapons. He doesn't just step into the ring. He engineers psychological warfare long before the first punch. Jake controls the story, fuels tension, sparks reactions, and turns every exchange into viral gold. Wade claims Jake lured Gervonta Davis with promises of massive paydays, global buzz, and blockbuster glory. Bait too tempting to refuse. For Jake, the true victory isn't just in the ring. It's in owning the spotlight and making the spectacle itself part of the win. The clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis isn't just a fight, it's a power play.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which...
The matchup has sharply divided the boxing world. Purists call it a blow to the sport's integrity, citing the size gap and exhibition label as proof it's more show than substance. Supporters, however, insist it's exactly what boxing needs: new audiences, renewed buzz, and a modern edge for a fading tradition. Davis's fans see him using the stage to expose the difference between spectacle and true skill, while Jake followers hail him as a disruptor bringing star power and fresh energy to a sport craving relevance. The clash bridges generations between those who see boxing as disciplined art and those who crave high-octane entertainment. Whatever one's stance, there's no denying one fact: this fight has the whole world talking.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. Would you say number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean. That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean. You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean. You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game, but you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean. But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not gonna fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever gonna fight you, I'm not doing you no favors. And all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said
the retirement.
The retirement. Oh, boxing. Boxing. They around. They around. It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right?
If Jake Paul pulls off a victory, boxing could tilt toward influencer versus pro matchups, where fame and flash outweigh rankings and merit. That shift might attract massive audiences, but risk sidelining real champions and eroding the sport's authenticity. Conversely, if Gervonta Davis wins decisively, it would reaffirm that skill, discipline, and fundamentals still outrank hype and showmanship. This isn't just a fight. It's a defining moment for the sport itself, a test of what fans truly value: craftsmanship and honor, or spectacle and clicks.
Hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is, let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long.
Who's taking this fight home, Tank or Jake? Cast your prediction in the comments below.